What I'm going to do today is take you through real quick how I make simple pickled beans or actual pickles if you have the cucumbers. I remember as a kid my mom made what we call dilly beans, and they're pickled beans, and I just really liked them, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then I grew up and started having a garden and growing green beans, and I remembered that. So there's any number of ways you can do this. I do what's called refrigerator pickling, so that means it wouldn't be stable at room temperature. So after I make the brine and put it all together and seal it up, then it has to be kept in a fridge. So that's one limitation. However, I have had some sort of accidentally around in a fridge for a couple years, and they keep fine. That one was still fine, and I don't know that it was better. It certainly didn't have to sit around that long, but anyway, I've got kind of at the end of the season here. I still have some beans. I also have these cucumbers that I keep not seeing because they're hidden, and so they get kind of big. So then what I do with those is split them up like this and take off the peeling, and also kind of de-seed them a little bit, and then they eat okay. But we'll get out some other ingredients and go through this. So here's what else I typically use. I used to have black peppercorns. I didn't try too hard, but I was at the store and I couldn't find just the whole corn, so I got this grinder. So basically, if you have some black peppercorns, you can throw, I don't really measure this stuff too much, I don't know, maybe like a teaspoon, maybe a couple teaspoons. So I just throw a little pepper in there. I also do a couple shakes of hot red flake pepper, the kind of stuff you might put on a pizza. Gives it a little bit of heat, but not too much. Then I didn't do it yet, but I put a decent amount of garlic for a quart, maybe 4 or 5 cloves, which I think gives it a little flavor, but then you eat the garlic too, and that's nice. So I guess what I'll do now is get the garlic going, get all this stuff put in here, and then we'll talk about the brine. I almost forgot one of the stars of the show, the dill. I kind of lucked out. I planted some dill in this pot with the hopes that it would be ready. Oh, there's my beans out there. About the time the beans were ready, and it actually worked out that way. I've been pickling these jars for probably about a month, and this plant is really winding down. It's not producing as much, and I've been picking a lot, but the beans are also winding down. So this might actually be the last jar of beans I'm able to pickle this year, but at any rate, you can also use dried dill, I think, but if you can find some fresh dill, it's better, I think. I got this jar pretty full. I was able to get most of the cut up cucumber pieces in there. A couple didn't quite fit. Now, for the brine, what I do is 50-50 of white vinegar and water. Different people do different ratios. That's what I've figured out works for me. With 1 quart, what I will do is I will dissolve 2 tablespoons of salt. So as far as the volume goes, that's kind of a learning curve for whatever you're putting in the jar. I've learned that if I'm only doing beans, I actually need about 3 cups of brine for a 4-cup quart, which you would think it would be less than that. If I throw in some of these cucumbers, they take up more space, so you just have to kind of figure out how much you need. But for now, I need to get the salt in here and then bring this to a boil. So this is boiling. As far as I know, when I do this, I don't have to boil it for any length of time. I think it's more about the temperature. And then you just carefully pour it into your jar. I hope I have enough. Looks like I got plenty. Sometimes you have leftover, but that's better than not having enough. Alright, so now this is going to be very hot, but what you do is carefully get your lid. And I got, let's see, dill, peppers, garlic, everything's in there. And you clamp it. See, now already it's hot to the touch. But what happened is it'll cool down. I don't put it into the fridge until it's cool. And every now and then as it's cooling, I kind of just go and check, and I can often tighten it a little bit more. So basically, that's it for this. What we have coming up next is I don't know if I'm in the camera. Why don't I go like this? No, I should be. I did a Menards mix that Beth had, and she hadn't used it, and she offered it to me, and I thought, okay, sure, I'll try that. So I did the exact same kind of inner parts, but I did it my regular way, and I did it with this Menards way. And we opened them last night and did a little quick test, but we're going to do a little video tasting, and they're definitely different, but I think they're both good. So I guess we'll get to that next. So that was how I do the pickled beans. We'll give some ones I made previously a quick taste, but now we're going to do this side-by-side taste. This is what I used. Mrs. Wage's spicy pickles, hot. So I put some overgrown cucumbers in a couple jars, and you can see those in the foreground, and then in the middle is some previous pickled beans. Beth is here to help me taste. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Don. It's good to be back.
It's nice to have you back. Let's try a pickled bean.
Okay. And these are the ones that are 2 years old?
I'm not sure. They might be the last of the ones that are 2 years old. Which would be interesting to just open a one that's a month old and try that. Mm-hmm. But I just really like them. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit crunchy. I don't know if you would say they're actually garlicky. I think the main flavor I get is vinegar, salt, maybe some of the dill.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good.
You would probably put them in a Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the Mrs. Wage's. They're a more rich, light yellow color from whatever they have in their seasoning mix. Yeah. Mine is not. Let's start with mine because previous tastings has revealed these are a stronger flavor, but mm-hmm. I personally think mine do have some flavor still. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's good. You can taste the salt and a little bit of spice. It kind of reminds me of the Vietnamese style pickled cucumbers.
It is kind of salty, mm-hmm. kind of vinegary. At the end, and if you eat more of it, my little red pepper flakes that, well actually you didn't see me make these, but you saw me do some shakes, shake in the,
yeah.
in the beans, but I don't know if you can see, but it does have I don't know, a couple teaspoons or so of the red pepper flakes, and they do add a little bit of heat, and if I was to eat like a few more pieces, it accumulates a little bit, which is, you know, fine. But now, mm-hmm. this one is the Mrs. Wage's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these have a little bit of a kick.
Mm-hmm. As soon as you swallow it, I think it gets you with the tickling heat.
Yeah, I like it. I picked up this mix at Menards, and I sent it to Shannon and asked if she used it, and
Shannon is a friend of Beth.
Shannon's an expert pickler. She hasn't tried it because she steers clear of those mixes because they have some I don't know, chemical or something, and then that makes the pickles stay crispy. And
Okay.
I think this chemical is like not natural or something, and maybe one of your viewers would know.
Very possible. Well, and I'm not gonna read the ingredient list, but it might be on the package. And there's also, and this would be in the. There's a spice flavor that would be like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say cardamom, cloves, cinnamon. There's some kind of actual spice that they probably have in that mix.
Yeah.
So 2 different ways to make it. I made these about the same way I made these. This, all I did was, I don't know if I mentioned it, was like, instead of 50-50 brine, vinegar, water, it was like 1/3 vinegar, 2/3 water.
Okay.
And then I just measured out what I figured was the appropriate amount of the package, because the thing said it made like 10 quarts and I was going to be making, or however many cups it was. And I figured out I was making like about 1/3 of it, so I measured the package out, did about 1/3 of it. But yeah, these are spicy ones, so like the non-spicy Mrs. Wages might back that heat. But honestly,
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know if I prefer it. It has more kick. You can't eat as much of it, but you know you don't need to eat as much of this stuff anyway.
No.
But I prefer kind of DIY.
Yeah, I do too. I just bought that spice one day and was curious about it, but
Fun.
Shannon also does. However, she buys this container called pickling spice, but it's, you look at the ingredients and it's all, like you were saying, just a mixture of herbs and
Mustard seed, maybe.
yep, I
and
think
all
there's
that.
mustard seed and yeah. But
Yeah.
and then she just takes the peppers from her garden and the garlic and puts it in there. So
Sweet. Well, there you have it. Go ahead, give this type of thing a try. You can buy, nice looking those mini cucumbers, that you buy. You could buy those. You could pickle them probably as is. You could probably, if you could find the right kind of green beans, I suppose those smaller ones could work too if you had enough of them. But of course, it's fun to be able to grow them, but that's only a limited time and place. But yeah, let me know your pickling adventures. This is refrigerator pickles, as I said. It's not officially canning. If it was actual canning process, then I could leave them at room temperature or like cellar temperature. So it isn't that way. That's another level of packaging that I don't do. So that's about it. We're gonna enjoy this Potter's beer, which we'll have a video on this beer sometime. Cheers.
cheers now.
Pickle you later. I'll just say.